Hey, what's up, guys? Obviously, you've probably heard the news by now that there are some rumors of an Obi-Wan movie coming out. We have unfortunately been out at YouTube Creator Day all day, so we haven't been able to cover this at all. But I mean, I want to talk about it with you guys, so I'm gonna cover the facts, what we know so far. I'll talk a little bit about what I'm expecting from this, and then we'll just answer some questions. So as far as what we know for sure, the Hollywood Reporter has claimed that they have sources that are telling them that an Obi-Wan movie is happening. That there's no script yet, but there are talks of director Stephen Daldry. Before I go any further, let me say, take all of this with a grain of salt. Nothing has been officially stated by Lucasfilm yet. I don't think that we should be saying an Obi-Wan movie is 100% confirmed until Lucasfilm says something, until they put something out on StarWars.com. But it's Hollywood Reporter. They're not really in the business of just straight dumping rumors out there without any credibility. So I think this is likely very legit. I think this is the most the best, most credible word that we are getting an Obi-Wan movie so far. Just wanted to get that out there. It is not confirmed, but there are talks about Stephen Daldry coming in to oversee the writing and directing it. He directed The Reader, Billy Elliot, and The Hours. All three of those were nominated for Academy Films. I have to be honest, I haven't seen a single one of them. But hey, Oscar nominations are always a good sign. I imagine he's a pretty good choice. I know he also just got an Emmy nomination for The Crown on Netflix. I also haven't seen that. Clearly, I don't know much about the director, so I can't really say much either way about him. They're also saying that there is no script, that this is all still very early talks. Take that for what you will. Here's something that the article claimed was that a Yoda and a Boba Fett film, they're also in the works. I really hope that's not true. I should take that with a grain of salt as well. I've said over and over, I do want to see an Obi-Wan film. We'll get there, but I don't want to see just Han Solo and Obi-Wan and then Yoda and Boba Fett. I don't want to get these movies about characters we already know. I want to see stuff more like Rogue One, surrounded by events that maybe we know happened, or even just brand new things. That's more interesting to me than finding out Yoda's backstory. So I hope that stuff is not true. But that's everything that we can say for sure based on this article. Just that there are sources claiming that an Obi-Wan movie is in the works and Stephen Daldry is going to helm it. I think that both of those things are probably very likely, and that Lucasfilm is going to announce it 100% officially sometime soon. Now let's get into a little bit of speculation. The article says that there is no mention of Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan, but come on, it's going to be Ewan. There would be riots if anyone were cast in that part but Ewan, unless it's a childhood origin story, but I doubt they would go that way with it. I think it's going to be about him on Tatooine. Now the question is, can they make a compelling movie or story about Tatooine? And I think they can. I do think it needs to all be on Tatooine, because there's no way that Obi-Wan is leaving, right? He's there to protect Luke. I don't think he would ever leave for any reason. So I think the only way that we might get him off Tatooine is if they were flashbacks to his childhood, which I could see happening. Also, we know that Yoda in Star Wars Rebels can kind of commune with other Force users, so maybe Obi-Wan could be communing and communicating with other Force users or something throughout the galaxy. That might get us off of the desert, but I don't think Obi-Wan is going to physically leave. I think so. Because of that, I think there is potential that we could have Yoda in the film. I also think it's possible we could either see Liam Neeson in flashbacks or hear his voice. The book Ahsoka has shown us that Obi-Wan is communicating with Qui-Gon, so I could see that happening. I could see Liam Neeson being in this movie to some degree. But other than that, I think it's going to be a pretty intimate film. I think this is going to be less action packed, maybe more of a character study, maybe something like Logan was for Wolverine. I don't think it's going to be violent like that, but I could just see it being kind of a Western, really getting into the character of Obi-Wan and what he did between episodes 3 and 4. We do have some of that story from the comics and the Ahsoka book, but obviously, oh, and Star Wars Rebels. So we've already had the Darth Maul wrap up. That would have been cool to see in a movie, but we are getting some stories there. I don't know what stories there are left to tell, but I think that they would only be going this route if they do think that there is something worth talking about. I bet we'll get into like the nature of the Force and stuff. I can see this just being a much smaller film in that degree. Like, we might get more. I think we're going to learn more about the Force and Obi-Wan as a character, and less about the rebellion and the Empire and good versus evil and all that. Although I do absolutely think there's going to be action in it. But I was actually with Prince from Urban Acolytes today, Urban Acolyte TV. He was at the YouTube creator event as well, and he made a very good point that any problems that arise, Obi-Wan's going to have to get creative with the way he solves them, because he can't go around flashing his lightsaber. He can't use the Force openly. So I think that could present some pretty cool challenges for him. But that's pretty much all I have to say about the news that we've heard so far. So if you guys have any questions, I will answer them for a good, I don't know, 10-ish minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll call it a day. But let's talk. Alfredo Nava starting right after Revenge of the Sith confirmed. That's not true. Space Doc Moore, Ewan McGregor is always good. The guy is fantastic as Kenobi. I agree. I thought he was one of the best parts of the prequel. Billy and Boris, who do I think the villain will be? Also, Star Wars Legacy, who will be the main antagonist? I think it'll probably be criminals of some kind. They've kind of touched on this in the Star Wars comics, and I guess they might go that route. It could be Jabba and his thugs, or bounty hunters, or Tusken Raiders. All of those we've seen as little villains in the Star Wars comics facing off with Obi-Wan, so I don't know what else it could be, unless maybe an Inquisitor comes to chase him down. Maybe an Inquisitor does some investigating and there's like a game of cat and mouse. That's an interesting idea. I would be down for that. But those are the options that I have off of the top of my head. I'm sure that there are plenty of other options, and I'm excited to see what happens. I doubt Darth Vader would be the antagonist, but you never know. Stu Dog, yes, he does use his lightsaber in A New Hope, but at that point he was kind of ready. He's not protecting Luke anymore so much as he's training him. They're going off on a mission. It's okay to use his lightsaber then. I think he was kind of ready to make his presence known. Jeff C., have I read the Kenobi Legends novel? Would I want it to be similar to that? I really like that book. I love John Jackson Miller. So, yeah, I mean, whenever we approach stories like this, like, let's take Thrawn, for example. When we bring Thrawn from Legends into canon, we want him to be the same, and we love his Legends story, but they can't just repeat what we've already read, or else it's just boring. On the other hand, for most of the Star Wars fandom out there, as in like the people that just watch the movies, obviously they haven't read the book, so they could probably take a lot of inspiration from the book. But selfishly for myself, it's like, do I want to see that exact story again? Not really. I'd like to be surprised. I want something brand new. So there's a balance there, I think, that we can find. Oh, by the way, someone was saying something about the title. My favorite one is something I retweeted where it was "Hello there, a Star Wars story." Torbis, do I think Stephen Daldry is going to be a good fit? I mentioned this earlier. I mean, he's nominated for 3 films. The Academy has nominated him as Best Director 3 times. He's never won, but still, that's a good sign. Unfortunately, I haven't seen a single one of his movies. I looked through his IMDb. I've not seen a single one, so I can't really have an informed opinion about him. But the fact that he's been nominated gives me some pretty solid confidence in the guy. Could we get a Thrawn cameo? I really doubt it. Daniel S. Good old Daniel S. Thoughts on seeing Luke again? How old do I think he'd be? Ooh. Um, if we see Luke, I think it would probably be something like we got in Star Wars Rebels, where he's just off in the distance. I don't think Luke is going to be that heavily involved. I don't think his story really got started until episode 4. Obviously, things happened to him, and Obi-Wan protected him from things, as we've seen in the Star Wars comics, but I expect that Luke's involvement will be not that much. And as for his age, I would guess it's going to take place before Star Wars Rebels season 3. So he'll probably still be fairly young, maybe 10. Total guesses, no idea. And I'm sorry I missed your name, but I saw someone ask if we might see Joel Edgerton in the film. I think that would be cool. Joel Edgerton has said that he is game to come back. I would like to see Lars or Owen have a spot, because I've really enjoyed what they did with his character in the Star Wars comics. They've really humanized him, and I would like to see a little more of that in the movies, because if you only see the movies, Uncle Owen comes off as this really harsh guy, but there's a reason behind it, and I like that reason, so I could see them getting into that a little bit. Uh, I also saw someone ask if Liam Neeson would be in it. I did touch on this earlier at the beginning. I think it's possible we'll at least hear his voice, because we know Obi-Wan did that in Ahsoka. Maybe we'd get to see him in flashbacks. Uh, a Kanan or an Ahsoka cameo, Mitten 80806. I doubt it. It depends on when the story takes place, but I kind of see this being like Obi-Wan and no other Jedi. I mean, maybe he talks to Yoda through the Force, maybe he talks to different people, but I don't think they're going to be heavily involved in the story. I feel like I have to preface this every time. All speculation. Yes, people. Yeah, Yoda definitely is going to be there. Yeah, maybe. Jeff C., you're who asked about Liam Neeson. Could Bail Organa appear? That's possible. I mean, he definitely knows Obi-Wan is there. Yeah, I could see us having another Bail Organa cameo. Nightwing, thank you so much. A James Arnold Taylor cameo, and DJ GT. If it's true, do you think there'll be time skips? To get back to Nightwing, that would be very cool if James Arnold Taylor had a cameo, and or Stephen Stanton in some way, just to kind of give them nods. I don't think they would play Obi-Wan in any way, like provide his voice or anything, but just to have them there playing small characters, I would love. DJ GT, if it's true, do you think there'll be time skips? I could see there being flashbacks. I I don't know that it would like start right after Revenge of the Sith and then like tell a bunch of little stories all throughout. I think it's probably going to be one story told at one point in time with maybe a flashback or two, but who knows. Air Pokemon Naruto 22. Hey Alex, you think Obi-Wan movie could have the vibe of Logan and Seven Samurai? Yeah, I actually mentioned Logan before. I think that could be. I think this could be like the Logan of Obi-Wan. I don't think it'll be nearly that violent, but I think it could have that kind of westernish feel. Ooh, Apophix. Cad Bane is the villain. I like it. I like that. I'd love to see Cad Bane in live action, so sure, that gets my vote. Vader should be the villain. Just listen to Christian Harloff, Elite 4X. I haven't listened to the latest Jedi Council since all this news came out. I assume they talked about it today. I can't wait to watch it and get their reaction. But I'll get back to you on that. I just don't think Vader can be the villain because he just doesn't go to Tatooine. Like, he didn't know Obi-Wan was there, so I don't know how he would fit in as the villain. JWM Gaming Studio, a Satine flashback to Mandalore. I would love to see Satine in live action, but a lot of this stuff, it's like they have to be careful when they make these movies. They need to balance it out between people that only watch the movies, because that's the majority of their audience. Like, you have to keep in mind that all you guys here, there's what, 400 of you here now, like, or the 350,000 people that are subscribed to the channel, we are the minority. There's a lot of us, but not everyone reads every book and every comic and watches the Clone Wars and watches Star Wars Rebels. Most people that are Star Wars fans just watch the movies. So there has to be this balance where, like, the hardcore fans get Easter eggs and fun things, but the casual fans still need to understand everything. And without too much exposition, that would just frustrate the hardcore fans. So, like, if they had to explain who Satine was, and all of us are like, yeah, we know, but all these other people need to know this information, it's just hard to balance all that stuff out, you know? Will Boba Fett and Darth Maul appear? Maybe. I doubt it, because Darth Maul didn't find him until the end of Star Wars Rebels Season 3. Unless it ends like the way Rogue One ends and leads into A New Hope. Maybe Kenobi would end with him, like, going to sit by the fire. But then Ezra would have to be there too, so we'd need a live action Ezra, and we'd need Ray Park back as Maul. I think that adds a lot of just complications. I'd love to see Darth Maul in live action. Like, I'd love to see so many things live action, but I think they'll probably tell a story separate from Darth Maul. Desmond 9830, didn't Bane die before all of this during the Clone Wars? I think it's not confirmed. I think the implication is that maybe he did, but we don't know for sure. I do really like that unfinished Clone Wars bit, though. Torbis, is Obi-Wan still a Jedi after the Purge? Yeah, I think so. Max P1311, will pod racing be in it? I guess it could be if it's Boon to Eve. Brick Raider, it would be cool if Obi-Wan went back to Mos Eisley. I expect Mos Eisley would be in there. I mean, Obi-Wan has had some history there. He knows it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Mos Eisley. Maybe he meets other Jedi. Commander Cody will be the villain. Ultra Ninja 2. That's an idea. I like that idea. Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna go find you again. Ultra Ninja 2. That is a very compelling idea to me. To have Cody, like someone that was a friend to Obi-Wan, being after him, trying to finish the job. I think it's unlikely, but I think that's a really cool idea. Ga 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 cowboy. Will we see Han Solo? I doubt it. I mean, we're getting a whole movie about the guy. I think Obi-Wan will be like the major Star Wars character that is featured here. Yeah, we might get Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, maybe like a little Luke cameo, but I think we're going to be focused on Obi-Wan, and that's it. Charlie Poser, Mace Windu there as well? No, that guy's dead. I don't care what Samuel L. Jackson says. Mace Windu is dead. Jabba cameo, yeah, okay, he's a pretty major character that I could see being there. Watto, he could be, but I feel like Lucasfilm, especially in the movies, I don't know, maybe by then, they will have kind of gotten over their fear of the prequels. Um, they claim they don't have a fear of them, but it seems like they really shy away from that stuff. So maybe they'd include Watto, but of all the characters they could include, I doubt it would be him. A Spyros, a Jawa cameo. I'm sure we'll see Jawas and Tusken Raiders and all that. I wouldn't call those cameos. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to keep up with the comments. Oh, Arthur Sign, a man after my heart, a Biggs cameo. Of course, we have to see the entire Darklighter family. They're all there on Tatooine too. We got to see like a little child, but he's already got a fully grown mustache. Yeah, you're right. I can just feel it in my heart that Biggs is going to be in this movie. I've seen a couple people recommend Asherad Het. I doubt he'll make it in. Darth Krayt, that would take so much explaining for them to be like, okay, he's fighting Tusken Raiders, and that Tusken Raider has a lightsaber. Why does he have a lightsaber? Like that I think that would be way too much to get into for a movie, but it could be cool. Like, I guess if we're going with like a Logan type vibe, not that they've said that's what they're going for, this is just kind of what I'm imagining. If it's a Logan type vibe, I think we're going for a Western. If we're getting a Force user as an enemy, it would have to be an Inquisitor, I think. Joseph Hines, will they visit Stu John? Maybe we'll see it in flashbacks, finally. Maybe we'll finally learn something about Stu John. Oh, what a name. Joseph, would you want to see stuff from his journal from the Star Wars comics? Again, not really, because we've already seen that story, so I would like to see something brand new. We might see it, but I would prefer just something brand spanking new. Could Cody be a Death Trooper? I don't think so. I don't think the Empire would allow that, but that's just my guess. Okay, we've been going for about 25 minutes. I haven't eaten in a while. I need to go eat some dinner. I just wanted to report on this possible news that hopefully turns out to be true. Hopefully Lucasfilm gives us an official confirmation very soon. But thank you guys for your questions. Thank you for your super chats. And as always, just thank you for watching. And may the Force be with you.